Yo! Yes, everybody, we are back for some more Kagurabachi content, ladies and gentlemen, and we are here with chapter 62 of Kagurabachi. I do want to apologize, my last review was a week late. Again, I've had some craziness going on, and Editor-san unfortunately was a little bit sick at the moment, but we are back and up and running, so I apologize for the delay. Won't happen again. Probably. Maybe. I have no idea. So when we last left off of Kagurabachi, we had the reveal that Samura actually had a daughter who he had her memory scrubbed of him, and even her own knowledge of being his daughter scrubbed in order for her to be able to live a normal life. Now, the current game plan is that the Masumi and Chihiro are going to find her, kidnap her, and protect her ultimately from the Hishaku, because they know that if anything were to happen to her because of the Hishaku, Samura would crash out and kill everybody, so they need to make sure that she is protected. Now, ultimately, this is going to be a bit hard because we saw with the last page of last chapter that Samura's owl was peering down directly at her. Before we dive too deep into chapter 62, please make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe. We are on our way to 20,000 subscribers, and I would love to have you. You look handsome today. You look good. You look good. You smell good. Your breath don't stink. I hope it doesn't. Brush your teeth. So there's a couple things worthy of note within this chapter. Again, this is very dialogue heavy as far as chapters go, so a lot of people are kind of think it's a bit slow, which is fine. I think that it doesn't need to be super fast. I would like the story to rather take its time. But an interesting thing that we're starting to see is in this flashback, Iori, the name of Samura's child, is having these flashbacks of this random man, of her as a child holding his hand, but she has no idea who this person is. Now, the sorcery was meant to eradicate and seal all of her memories. Well, eradicate and seal aren't the same thing, but you know what I mean. But those memories aren't gone. So as far as the seals breaking, I have no idea. I don't know what is possible within the realm of sorcery in Kagurabachi. It's still very early. There things such as binding vows don't exist as far as I know, but how this memory, this one singular memory would leak out, I'm not sure. So Iori is going about her day, and as she is watching the morning news with her mom, she sees a kabuki performance was attacked on the afternoon of the 9th, and an attacker killed multiple people on stage. There's our boy Chihiro! He made it on TV! Woo! Kind of sucks though, because this actually has some ramifications. Possibly good, possibly bad, I don't know. Probably mostly bad, because like the majority of the public did not know who Chihiro was, but like this happened? Yeah, I don't know. I could very easily see the Hishaku themselves just directly going after Chihiro and everybody he cares about. Because yeah, I mean, Yuta saw him, but like no one else really knew his face like that. I mean, at the Rakuzaichi, they literally had this like drawing of him, but they didn't know it was Chihiro until he like literally walked through the gate. Now, a lot of people speculated that Hirohiko was going to use Chihiro, defending himself to attack the blade wielder's public image. And I think that's what is being seeded here, I believe. And we'll talk about it here in the next couple of pages. So Iori is going to school, and she says it was an ordinary morning, except the violence was on the rise. 3 days earlier, a weird thing had blocked out the sky. Brother, for 3 days straight, Samura blocked out the sun. This man cast a domain expansion that lasted 3 days? Like, I don't... what kind of spiritual energy reserves does Samura have? Like, are we into like late game, like War Naruto levels of like chakra reserves? What is this, huh? Now we see on page 4 here, one of Iori's classmates has this like weird marking on his face, and he's kind of like speaking all edgy and whatever, and they're kind of thinking, oh, you're being a weirdo, what's wrong with you? What's that thing on your face? He's like, oh, it was here when I woke up. And then one of her classmates says, I get it, you're imitating the guy who attacked the kabuki performance. Now, this guy just happens to be a fan of Chihiro. He has no idea who he is. He just thinks that he's cool, whatever. He just thinks that he's just some edgelord hero. If we start having people like take it upon themselves to be like vigilantes and get themselves killed trying to fuck with the Hishaku or just the Yakuza in general, we're gonna have a real problem. A lot of these Batman comparisons that I'm starting to see. So Yuri says, hey, that guy's a murderer. That's messed up. Take it off your face. And he ends up wiping it off of his face. Now, Yuri says that she's been having this dream about holding this random man's hand as a child for 3 days straight, or as soon as Tobimune Owl was activated. How busted is Tobimune, man? I mean, if it allegedly has the power to bring somebody back from death and have high energy spirit detection and whatever this is, I don't know. This has to be some sort of ability. It can't be Owl. I can't see Owl being something that can like mess with somebody's memories like that. And then on page 9, Iori actually does come to the conclusion that what if the thing in the sky is having some kind of weird effect on me? And everybody's just kind of downplaying her and being like, it's not that big a deal, whatever, it's just some weird shit. And we look down and we get a jump scare of Kuguri outside of her high school. I love how cinematic this next page is on page 10, where this individual tries to come up and talk to him like, hey, you know, get away from school. What are you doing here? Is that a sword on your back? And we see that Kaguri just effortlessly just washes this guy. And we have this, it gives this impending sense of doom and horror. We have no idea what he's gonna do. We don't see his face, but we know what his intent is. I think it's very effective. It's very cinematic how Hokazono does this. I love when he does stuff. You can see this being animated, like literally. I'm being 100% honest with you. I would not be surprised if Hokazono like end up storyboarding some of the Kagurabachi anime. I know that's like unprecedented levels of glazing, but like the way he uses motion is different. I like it. I dig it. I dig it. I do. So Kuguri ends up busting through the window in the classroom. He asks, what year is this? Is this the second year? Awesome. And then he says that he's looking for Samura. What class is she in? Now, the girl Hishaku that he is with, she ends up stabbing some random girl with her finger and ends up tasting her blood, which leads us to believe that she has some sort of blood manipulation ability. I'm gonna assume that it operates almost exactly like Toga's from My Hero, maybe a little different, I don't know. Blood abilities can be like really interesting or really boring. Like Dead Man Wonderland was like pretty cool. Toga's I think was decent. We'll see what this is. Like blood abilities are just very common within the Shonen Jump and just, you know, comic space in general. So we'll see what she can do. I'm curious. And also, is Kuguri, is his design slightly different? I don't remember him having that nose bridge thing. Am I crazy? Am I losing my mind? I swear to God, like, hold on, let me bring that up. Yeah, he didn't have it. Why Hokazono changed his design? I have no idea, but sure, hey, go ahead. I'm about it. So the girl Hishaku says that they are only allowed to kill the boys, that they're not allowed to kill any of the girls because she could be any one of them. And then her classmate that she was berating earlier actually ends up trying to stand up to Kaguri because, you know, people in, you know, these shonen worlds, they have no sense of self-preservation. So, you know, why would I not try to jump at the nigga that busted through a fucking glass panel? Bro, if I see a nigga jump through like a fucking glass window and hop on a desk and be like, all right, where they at? I'm leaving. You got it, bro. Hey, stay blessed, my brother. Inshallah. You know what I'm saying? Now, before Kuguri can try to cut this idiot's head off, Iori actually steps in and saves this kid. So we know that she has a good heart, which, I mean, we could all guess this. I mean, I know what genre I'm reading. I could have guessed it. Now, Kuguri says that, oh, you've got guts. Check her blood. If she's not Samura's daughter, we can kill her. And as Iori is panicking, thinking that her life is about to flash before her eyes, we have Minimura opening the door saying, excuse me, coming in like Randall from Recess. On the next page, we have our boy Chihiro coming in with that heat. Now, this is his wakizashi. This is not his long sword. We can see that Enten is still sheathed. That's not Enten's hilt. Which raises a question to me, just how skilled is Chihiro without Enten? I'm assuming very good, but Kuguri had no idea that he was behind him until he blocked Chihiro's attack with his hilt. So how good is Chihiro as far as being a swordsman? We know that Samura obviously just fucking cooked him, right? And what's crazy is that Samura actually didn't even have Tobimune active, so I don't know. Well, maybe the Masumi possibly put Chihiro under a cloak or something. Not entirely sure. Kind of weird. Now, actually, when Iori's classmate falls down, he looks up and she's gone. A bit weird. This transition like threw me off. I had to read it like 3 times because Iori doesn't even react to like getting snatched or anything like that. I don't mind it personally, but I did feel like there was kind of just a gap that could have been missing. Like maybe like we would have seen like the big burly Masumi member like, you know, putting his hand on her shoulder or, you know, lifting her up or something like that. It's kind of weird. Now Minimura is trying to take stock of the situation, and the female Masumi member is saying the seal's breaking down. They must have picked up a signal, but they can't pinpoint her identity. Now Minimura says it has to be something external, the influence of the owl that can't be it. The girl has no memory of Samura. There's nothing that can be triggering. Now, I don't know how intimately Minimura is with Tobimune and its abilities. He could be completely wrong. I could be wrong, but I think it has to be Tobimune's abilities. It has to. You know what? Hold up. Wait a minute. Something just came to my brain. Something just came to my head top. Hold on. Wait a minute. So what if, stay with me. So what if when Samura activated Owl, maybe for those that are familiar with spirit energy or are, you know, children of people with spirit energy or things like that, if there's such a high concentrated dose, what if it's got like a flavor, or what if it's a familiar feeling, right? Like how you know your dad, your mom's scent, like you can just tell by their voice or anything like that. So you can just tell by their sheer presence, you know, who your family members spend time with. So what if when Samura activated Owl, maybe Owl itself didn't trigger the seal beginning to break slowly, but what if it was rather Samura's spirit energy itself that started unconsciously connecting to Iori's, and it was trying to form an attachment and lock back on? Maybe that seems closer to me, because Minimura says her memory of Samura is completely sealed, but if unconsciously she's trying herself to break the seal, I think that's what it is. Possibly. And Minimura says, we'll explain later. In any case, we know who the Hishaku are after. They're coming after you. Sorry, young lady, life is going to be different for a while. Starting now, you're under the Masumi's protection. So now, big thing is we got to get her out of here. So phase 1 of the mission is complete. Now moving on to phase 2 and keeping her out of the Hishaku's clutches, that's going to be intense. They would have to have her at a Kamunabi stronghold or something like that. Most likely they're going to keep her next to another blade wielder just so they can, you know, it's easier to have your ducks in a row if you do that, but the problem is if there's a raid or something like that, then you're kind of at more risk. So I can see why they would, I can see why they wouldn't, because you can't just keep bouncing her around. I mean, you could until this whole thing is over, but it doesn't seem practical. I feel like you're at more risk of running into people out in the field as opposed to where all your strongest allies are and things like that. I'm very curious to see where Hiyuki is. I'm assuming I know for a fact Hiyuki is with one of the blade wielders. As for which one, I'm assuming the girl, probably, or maybe the restaurant guy. I don't know. But yeah, phase 1 of our mission is complete. So as we move on to phase 2, I have no idea. As far as what Kaguri's sorcery is, I couldn't tell you. I don't know what he did with his hands where he instantly like killed that guy. Now Hirohiko's was origami. The girl's is blood, so Kaguri's maybe martial arts, possibly. I have no idea. But interesting. So a little bit of a slower chapter, which is perfectly fine with me. I don't mind at all. But let me know what you guys think about this chapter of Kagurabachi. But yeah. It's Baby Boy Daffy, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this video. Please make sure you leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next chapter. Y'all make sure you take care of yourselves, guys, and have a damn good one. Peace.